Hello and welcome back to Chapter 2 of the Disruptive Data Architect. My name is Robert Vane. I am a practicing enterprise architect with a particular specialism in data. In Chapter 1 I shared with you research that revealed some fundamental facts about data. In this chapter I will explore how you could initiate the journey of enterprise data architecture. So, let's cover how you prepare, where you start, and where you could end up in more detail. Chapter 2. Every journey has a beginning and an end. Only a fool would start any journey without fully preparing for it first. And for me, there are 4 aspects to that successful preparation. I call this the 4 M's approach. Get motivated, master the subject, secure a mandate, and find a mentor. Enterprise data architecture, like all disciplines of enterprise architecture, is a long-term, perpetual task. There are some quick wins, and I will cover these in later chapters. But for now, anybody embarking on this journey needs to expect a hard ride. There will be challenges, there will be knockbacks, and there will be very, very high possibilities of cynicism around what you are trying to achieve. So the first stage of preparation is get motivated. You're going to need to be highly self-motivated and have a consistent and long-term will of iron to pull this off. This journey is not one to take lightly. You must believe in it completely. It must be the one thing that makes you spring out of your bed in the morning and keeps you working late at night. Hopefully I'm not putting you off already, well I hope not anyway. Personal motivation is well covered by an enormous and established self-help industry. There are many books you can buy and online material that will assist you. I'm not a motivational expert, but I am a regular consumer of this kind of self-help material. It keeps me focused and in the game. So before you start, I recommend that you give your motivation a bit of a boost, because the second stage is master the subject. To be convincing and to talk with authority, you have to know what you're talking about, right? That's pretty obvious. You may have a purely academic insight into data and need some more real-life grounding. Or you may have learned on the job, so to speak, and need some theory to back it up. No one knows everything. I am constantly still learning and still developing new insights about data, even now. So, use the resources out there. Books, discussion groups like LinkedIn, online material, audio programs like this one. Don't rush into this task without getting as much input as possible. Study, collate and understand as much as you can about enterprise data architecture, because you're really going to need it for stage 3, which is get a mandate. The first chapter in this series introduced the results of some research I performed on the data landscape of a large enterprise, and more importantly, some real-life statistics to back up those results that show that enterprise data architecture is all about focusing on a fairly small number of atomic data components and understanding and managing them well across the enterprise. So to get a mandate to start on this journey, you can use research like this, or that I've given you, or any other search out there that you can find, to create presentations and papers to get buy-in from the right people before you start the journey of enterprise data architecture. So what do I mean by the right people? Well, the people with the money, the people with the authority to enable change, the people with a vested interest in getting data right. And you will need to persuade them that you personally can make a real positive difference through enterprise data architecture. That It is worth putting a short-term investment in your time for the long-term rewards. And that taking data seriously can leave them vulnerable to law and legislation if they don't take it seriously. The increase in understanding and the decrease in complexity of their data over time will enable more efficient processes and better decisions. And finally, you personally can lead them through this journey. Not an easy task, but an essential one that must be done first. Without a full mandate from the right level of management, it is highly likely that you will fail in this challenging journey. Been there, done that, still got the burns. But a word of warning: avoid directly using vendor documentation, keep it independent, paraphrase if necessary. Don't use material tied to any particular technology platform or framework. These things can come later. Concentrate on the business need, the risks and rewards. I find this reduces any confusion of message and stops the technology tail wagging the architecture dog. And you can get help to do all this. There are people out there that will only be too happy to share their experiences. So finally, for stage 4, if you can, find a mentor. Journeys are so much easier when travelling with a good guide, right? Of course they are, goes without saying. So don't be afraid to reach out to experts in the enterprise data architecture community. Some very experienced experts are born to mentor. They find this a rewarding occupation and, unlike me, have no commercial or financial reason to help you. And just an aside here, although I am commercially in the space, I am deliberately not making this audio series as a sales pitch. A good mentor just likes doing it for the good of the profession. If you are lucky enough to find one, let their wisdom and experience guide you. So, now you're prepared, you've got yourself motivated, you've mastered the subject, you've secured that mandate, and hopefully you've got a mentor to guide you as well. How do you begin? Where does the journey start? Well, first, you need to find out where you are. If you're in the same position as most starting this journey, there will be very little in the way of a documented and classified as-is data landscape already available to you. So your starting point is going to have to be discovery. And this is where so many enterprise data architecture initiatives have failed, in my humble opinion, by rushing to construct that ideal future, the end of the journey, without understanding what is actually there now. But take heart. I've already shown you in chapter 1 of this audio series that your task is to identify those 1,000 or so atomic building blocks. And over 90% of these can be identified through industry reference models and other resources. All you have to do is locate all the places each one of them exists across your database and information stores. This can be done in just a handful of months when you set out to actually do it. I know this, I've achieved it. And what I found is that when I had the whole physical data estate available and searchable, I could find all the locations of those 1,000 building blocks very quickly. Even a physical data landscape of over 200,000 physical columns can get catalogued very quickly when you're classifying over 2,000 at a time. If you commit to this task, you will have an invaluable store of information. You will know the real truth about the data in your enterprise, and this knowledge is power. Power that you can use to identify the weaknesses of some application silos and the strengths of others. Power that lets you identify quick wins in consolidating or managing mission critical data enterprise-wide. Power that shows the business just how fragmented their operation has become over time and how risky that is. Power to effect positive change based on undeniable and fundamental facts about data. The power to architect data. And for me, this is actually the end of the journey. What happens from that point is keeping everything you've discovered perpetually up to date. So, doesn't sound so hard now. If you knew you can achieve a position of architectural knowledge and power within the data domain in less than 1 year, you would be interested, right? Well, chapter 3 will take this further and is titled Have a Plan or Go Nowhere. Goodbye for now.